This is a Dragon Blazer production.
Coming down the aisle, the podcast tag team champions of the world, the Rage and Blaze Show. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Rage and Blaze Show. I'm Rage.
And I'm Blaze.
And today we are going to have our very first ever episode covering the Royal Rumble. Are you excited about this, Blaze?
I am very excited about this. I love the Royal Rumble match. It's one of my favorite pay-per-views in wrestling. It's just... 30 men, well, today, 20 men.
Yeah, we only get 20 men in the first ever Royal Rumble.
And 29, or today, 19 eliminated.
Yeah, the Royal Rumble is always a fun match, and being that we are from the future, we know that in later Royal Rumbles, it kind of becomes a match that gives them a chance to bring some old faces out. Obviously, this time, everybody's an old face.
Yeah.
Everybody's an old face. But we know later on in the WWE, the later Royal Rumbles, it's a good time to bring legends out and surprises. And it's always fun for the surprises. One of my favorite moments in Royal Rumble history was when Mick Foley entered the Rumble 3 different times with 3 different characters. I thought that was genius. I know technically that means there was only, 27 entrants instead of, maybe 28 entrants instead of the normal 30.
Foley was huge.
But that was exciting as can be when you had Mick Foley come out as Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and Mankind all in the same Royal Rumble. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to win. Even with 3 chances, he wasn't able to win the Rumble. But I thought that was a fun little surprise.
I remember that. That was a fun one.
Any other big surprises that the Royal Rumbles brought to you throughout the years that you can recall that maybe is one of your favorite moments of the Rumble?
The 3 Faces of Foley one was really, really fun. I guess either Shawn Michaels or Rey Mysterio winning because they were both 1 and 2 entrant.
Okay, so you're saying just...
those were good ones.
You were excited as them being a winner as opposed to a surprise that was entrant.
Now, if you want to go with moments, Shelton Benjamin, anytime Shelton Benjamin was in a Royal Rumble, he always had very unique moments, and Kofi Kingston always has really fun moments at Royal Rumbles.
Yeah, they're always...
Shelton is also really great in those ladder matches.
Oh, I can't wait till we get to the WrestleManias. I know we're talking Royal Rumble today, but I just can't wait to get to WrestleManias where they start doing the TLC matches with the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian. They kind of really started that whole trend of the TLC match, and then later on they move on to the Money in the Bank match.
Money in the Bank is one of my favorites.
Those are some of my favorite moments in WrestleMania history. Any time ladders got involved at WrestleMania, it was a really great moment.
Money in the Bank got so big it got his own pay-per-view later on.
Yeah, that unfortunately it did kind of veer away from WrestleMania. I kind of enjoyed it when it was a WrestleMania kind of spot, and now they've kind of taken it away and put it in its own little show.
Yeah, and I think they replaced it with the battle. I feel like they placed it with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah, that's possible. So, but today it's all about the Royal Rumble. The first Royal Rumble is 20 men. Now, I don't believe this first Royal Rumble entitled you to a championship match at WrestleMania. It'll be interesting to see how this show evolves, because now that's kind of that's what you get for winning.
Royal Rumble is the start to the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This is the start. you got Royal Rumble, and then it's all straight on down to the WrestleMania.
Right. So this really kind of leads that road. Now, something I learned while doing a little bit of research on this Royal Rumble is I was actually going through the chronological order of pay-per-views for WWE, then WWF, and I learned that this Royal Rumble in 1988 was missing in the chronological order. Do you know why?
No, why was that, Blaze? Or Rage?
I'm Rage. You're Blaze.
I'm Blaze.
This is the Rage and Blaze show. So the reason being is because the first ever Royal Rumble was actually a television special on USA. It was not a pay-per-view. So in chronological order, it is not considered a pay-per-view. But if you go to the WWE Network app, it is listed in the pay-per-view sections along with the rest of the Royal Rumbles.
And we're going to watch it as if it was.
And we are. We're going to watch it as if it was a pay-per-view because it's the Royal Rumble. It's the first ever Royal Rumble, and we're going to treat it as such. But it was just interesting to know that this was not originally a pay-per-view event.
That's very interesting.
I thought so. So go ahead, and if you want to join the conversation, you can hit us up at The Rage and Blaze Show on Facebook, at The Rage and Blaze Show on Instagram, at Ricky Rayberg, that's RICKYREHBERG, that's at Ricky Rayberg at Twitter. And then what is yours?
Dragon Blazer Productions on Facebook and Instagram, and Dragon Blazer Pro on Twitter.
Okay, so that is where you can join the conversation. We post a lot of things wrestling related, this history in wrestling. We throw out birthday wishes to famous wrestlers as we see their birthdays come up, and that is the place you can discuss these old pay-per-views with us. And we will list our rankings of the pay-per-views as the shows air. So, obviously, right now, we're not going to have a ranking of Royal Rumble posted. We're not going to have a ranking of Survivor Series posted. We do have a ranking of WrestleMania posted.
Yes, and I just updated it today.
To add WrestleMania 3.
To add WrestleMania
because
3.
We won't add it until we're done with it on the show.
Absolutely.
So that is what you can do if you want more of the Rage and Blaze show. But as of right now, we are going to move on to the 1988 Royal Rumble, January 24th, 1988, at Copps Coliseum in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. So that's what we are going to do now. We're going to enjoy this, and let's move on to the show.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so the Royal Rumble starts off with a match between Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ravishing Rick Rude. I was really excited to watch this match.
Battle of the Rickies.
Yeah, Battle of the Rickies. I'm partial to the Rickies. I like the Rickies. So anyhow, so this match kind of starts off fast, high octane, high pace, some throwing over the ropes, things like that. And then out of nowhere, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat puts an armbar on Rick Rude that felt like it lasted for 5 minutes.
Well, this is a tactic done by a lot of submission wrestlers where they focus on one location, like the arm, the leg, and they focus on that. And that's what Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was doing. He was wearing down that arm.
Yes. So then, as Ricky is working on this arm, finally we get Ravishing Rick Rude decides he gets the upper hand. There's some brawling moments, some punching, some throwing into the turnbuckles, and then he gets a submission move. And this is where we really want to discuss this match, isn't it?
Yeah, this was interesting. First off, we come to the realization is tap out's not a thing yet.
Yeah, so Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was pounding on the mat with his hands to try to get a crowd reaction to help him get that momentum to get out of this move. And as we watch wrestling today, we're just looking at each other like,
this match is over. This is over. Ravishing Rick Rude just won.
He just tapped out.
Tapped out.
I mean, several times he taps out. So I don't remember this watching wrestling in the 80s, but apparently, maybe tap out wasn't a thing yet.
We were both under 10 when we were watching in the 80s.
Yeah, we were pretty young, but it was very interesting to see just how many times he would hit the mat with his hands and there was nothing. So then, as this move goes on longer and longer, which felt like another 5 minutes, this was a 17-minute match, and I'd say 10 minutes of it was spent on submission holds.
Which, I mean, that's a preference. If you like submission wrestlers, this is the match for you.
I do like submissions, and I do like those type of matches. I do feel it went on a little bit too long. So, both wrestlers had submission holds. Both wrestlers just held it forever. And just when you think one guy would break out, there'd be some kind of like with Rick Rude, he was holding him on his back, and he jumps up and lands, his butt on his back just to continue the same move. So then another thing that interested us was that the Dragon Steamboat had Earl Hebner grabbed his hand. And we do remember this.
We do remember doing this kind of thing.
And maybe there wasn't such a thing as tap out, because I don't really recognize refs doing this today. Now that I really think about it, and I watch this match, where he holds his hand up and he lets it drop. And if it drops, he does this 3 times, and he drops it a second time.
Well, traditionally, it's
3 times. Well, he holds up Ricky's hand for a 3rd time, and it drops. And the match isn't over.
I don't know if it was a botch or a mistake.
It was like, definitely
hey, Ricky,
felt
you're not
like
supposed
a botch.
to lose yet. You're not supposed to lose yet. Oh, I'm sorry.
So then on the 4th drop, he does the whole holds his arm up and shakes, and kind of like Hulk Hogan, where he hawks up and he gets out of the move. But we looked at each other, and even Jesse the Body Ventura, during the commentating, said, "Oh, that dropped 3 times. That should be it. That's the end of the match." They even talk about it. So it was an obvious botch,
a mistake
between Ricky's arm and the referee. Obviously, the match wasn't supposed to end.
Sucks at counting.
But he definitely dropped it 3 times. It was the 4th time that he kind of hawked up. So then this match kind of speeds up and picks up after this. And there's a lot more wrestling involved after this. Less submission moves. And then we get the whole probably 10 tries of pins, where Earl Hebner has to go and get a second shoulder surgery.
Really exciting... Really exciting moment with the pins. They were both doing some...
Yeah, it was a back and forth roll-ups. There was back and forth. Each wrestler was pinning the other wrestler, and we got that back and forth where we had that in another match on one of the WrestleManias.
There was the Rick Rude when he was on top of Ricky the Dragon, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat got up with a bridge to stop the pin. That was
right.
Cool.
That was really cool. So there was a lot of fun moments towards the end of this match that was really, really exciting. But then the match ends with Ravishing Rick Rude being down after, I believe it was a suplex from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Then he goes up to the top rope. Rick Rude starts getting up, sees that he's about to get a crossbody, is what the Dragon was about to perform.
Which is
so then
sort of the Dragon's finishing move.
Yeah, it's sort of his finishing move.
Crossbody.
So he sees this as coming. So, Rick Rude's definitely the heel here. He grabs Earl Hebner, throws him in front of him. So then the Dragon actually does the crossbody on Earl Hebner as opposed to Rick Rude.
Just noticed there was something wrong, and he wanted the ref to see him, and he, Ricky the Dragon just kind of ran into him. I mean, it was an accident.
So as Earl Hebner's laying there, Rick Rude takes the advantage of the surprise moment. He picks up the Dragon Steamboat, picks him up, and does another submission, and he has him up, and then Earl Hebner kind of wakes up to this, and then rings the bell, points for the bell, and Rick Rude starts celebrating, doing his little hip thrust, his dancing, and he leaves the ring thinking he's the winner. They even play his music.
Yeah.
So
even the announcers say that Rick Rude just won the match with the submission.
Yeah, so there's some confusion here. Rick Rude walks all the way down the aisle thinking he won the match, and then the announcer finally gets on the mic and says, as a result of a disqualification, the winner of this match, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And then we find out that Rick Rude's gotten disqualified for pulling Earl Hebner in front of the Dragon Steamboat while he was in the air. So then Rick Rude comes back down to the ring to argue this with Earl Hebner. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, this was a TV special, so they end up going to commercial during this. But that's how this match ended. I found this match fun to a point. There was some tedious, probably 10 minutes of nothing but one submission hold being held by either wrestler that just kind of started dragging for me. But there was really fun spots in the beginning. There was really fun spots at the end. But there was a middle part. I do like submission holds in wrestling, but I do think there is a length of time that you need to break up the match, where I felt they spent a whole point of the match of nothing but submission holds that just kind of got lengthy for me.
I see what you're saying, but I kind of like the story it tells. I like the Dragon focusing on the arm. I'm looking forward to more of that when we get more submission wrestlers in wrestling. You target an area, you attack that area. It's smart. It plays a story, and it makes sense to go after one section, especially if your finisher's a submission on the arm. Mind you, the going after the arm really didn't go anywhere with this match because, it ends in a disqualification, not a submission on the arm. But, I like the story that normally tells. So, I thought this was a decent match. I enjoyed it. Not better than Macho Man Ricky the Dragon Steamboat match, but probably my second favorite match with Ricky the Dragon so far.
Okay. So that's fair. Like I said, I just thought it kind of got tedious at times, and then the fact that, to be honest, I'm rooting for Ricky the Dragon the Steamboat in this match, but let's be honest, he lost. And I hate to say it.
Well, he lost by our standards, but tap out apparently isn't a thing.
Well, not just the tap out. Earl Hebner held the arm up, and it dropped 3 times, and there was no end to the match. It was kind of weird. So there was a little bit of clunkiness in this match.
I feel like the dropping of the hand sleeper hold still gets used to this day, to my knowledge. I believe it's only when the wrestler looks like they're falling asleep and it's a sleeper hold. They don't really use it for submissions in general. But if the wrestler seems knocked out, I believe they still use it to this day.
Okay, well, I think we've spent enough time on this match. We kind of agreed to disagree a little on parts of what we liked and what we didn't like about this match. So let's go ahead and move on with the Royal Rumble. Okay, so the next segment we get isn't a match or anything that I think anybody really wanted to see, but we get a lengthy display of weightlifting. So we get Dino Bravo come out We get Jesse the Body Ventura to come out as his spotter, and we got Mean Gene Okerlund talking about it.
And Frenchie.
Oh, and we got Frenchie, who keeps speaking French, even though, as Mean Gene pointed out, I know you can speak English. So it's kind of a lengthy, time-consuming segment where he just goes through different weights and lifts the weights, and they talk about he's going to try to break the world record, which we're not going to bore you with this thing, but basically in a nutshell, he tries different weights, he keeps going until eventually the crowd booing him eventually makes him kind of walk away and say, pooey, I'm not going to do it. But then he finally comes back and he allegedly breaks the record, which was, I believe, 715 pounds.
Yeah,
I say allegedly for a reason.
Yeah. Johnny Bravo needs help to have Jesse...
Dino. Dino Bravo.
Johnny Bravo needs help. Tell me he didn't look like Johnny Bravo a little bit there. Give him some glasses.
Thank you very much.
I kind of wonder, and I kind of want to look into it, was Dino Bravo the inspiration for Johnny Bravo?
I'm not sure about that, but...
Big muscular dude. Johnny Bravo's a big muscular dude. Blonde hair. Put on some glasses. That's Johnny Bravo in the flesh.
Yeah, I don't know.
He just needs to, sexually harass women, and we got our show.
I think that was I think Johnny Bravo was mainly supposed to be Elvis. That's, I believe, more. How often? Definitely the way he talked.
I'm saying his look. His look looks inspired by Dino Bravo.
We'd have to.
And his name.
Yeah, we'd have to look into that and see if that was the inspiration, but this show isn't really a cartoon show.
I'm just telling you that I watched this terrible segment, and the only thing that got me through was thinking about, man, all I can think about is Johnny Bravo right now.
Fair enough. Well, anyhow, the reason I say allegedly beat the record is because it looked like
Jesse helped him.
He might have had some help from Jesse the Body Ventura, and even Vince McMahon on the mic commentating points this out to the audience.
Which Mean Gene also mentions that this was an unofficial world record breaking,
right?
Because they didn't have the official people there to take care of it, so this was just all a show, and it was boring, it was terrible, and I want my 10 minutes back.
Yeah, this was kind of a waste.
Was it 10 minutes or was it longer? It felt like
it had
dragged.
I think it at least was 10 minutes. But it just felt like just a segment that we could have done without.
If I wanted to watch the strongman competition, I watched the strongman competition. This is wrestling.
Yeah, I would have rather seen a match during this 10 minutes, even if it was a squash match, something. But this didn't do nothing for me.
I'd rather watch Hogan and Andre again.
Yeah, fair enough. So we're going to move on to hopefully a wrestling match this time.
It is. It's the women's title match. We get to see the Bomb Angels back.
Oh, we do. We get to see the Glamour Girls versus the Jumping Bomb Angels for, I believe, the Women's Tag Team Championship.
Which I'm hoping the Bomb Angels win. I'm hoping they show a little bit more that they showed in the last match we watched, the Survivor Series match, because they were the only good thing about that match.
Well, let's find out. Let's move on to it. Okay, so the next match we have is a best 2 out of 3 falls for the WWF Women's Tag Team Championships. This is against the Jumping Bomb Angels versus the Glamour Girls. What'd you think of this match?
It wasn't bad. Mainly because the Jumping Bomb Angels are actually somewhat talented. They were kind of entertaining. I don't know how the Glamour Girls got that title. They were not really that exciting at all to me.
Yeah, this was definitely the shining moment for the Jumping Bomb Angels. They were definitely exciting to watch, and this match played out pretty good. I mean, I thought the flow of this match, even though it was 2 out of 3 falls, the flow was better than the first match we watched.
I don't know about that, but it wasn't a bad match. I guess there was some controversy about this.
Well, let's hold on. Let's start off with the first fall that went to the Glamour Girls.
Yeah.
So the Glamour Girls get the first fall, and then after that, we get a second fall went to the Jumping Bomb Angels, and then the third fall, of course, goes to the Jumping Bomb Angels. And go ahead, talk about the controversy.
So, apparently the Glamour Girls and Jumping Bomb Angels were feuding quite a bit, which I guess we kind of saw that in the Survivor Series match we saw them in. And they were feuding quite a bit until the Jumping Bomb Angels won the titles here. And then a few months later, I guess the Glamour Girls won the titles in Japan again by beating the Bomb Angels. And I guess there was some kind of controversy with Fabulous Moolah. Fabulous Moolah was actually the ones that brought the Glamour Girls into WWF in 1975. She was upset because she had a falling out over no longer receiving a portion of their booking fees. So Moolah sabotaged them by going behind the WWF's back and informing the Japanese promoters that the Glamour Girls were to win the tag team belts in the last match of the tour. The girls did query this and tried to contact Patterson by telephone, but were unable to do so and agreed to win the belts. When they returned to the USA, they were confronted by Patterson, who informed them that they had totally screwed up the WWF's plans and that nobody within the WWF had made the decision for the title change. According to both Martin and Kai, he then refused to listen to them when told that it was Moolah who had ordered the title change. The plans Patterson had mentioned was a tag team championship match at WrestleMania 5 between the Bomb Angels and the Glamour Girls. The match was scrapped, ultimately costing all 4 women that would have been their largest payday, and the Women's Tag Team Championship banded in the mid-1989.
So, the last Women's Tag Team Champions recognized by WWF would be the Jumping Bomb Angels, or would be the Glamour Girls?
Well, I'm not real sure on that. The Glamour Girls were the last to have the titles, but WWF didn't recognize the change. They did not want that change.
I'll be darned. Well, the controversy I was actually asking about, and I got a little bit more than I expected, was the way this match had ended.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Talk about that.
So the controversy is, and this happens in tag team wrestling all the time, so the first part of the controversy wasn't really much of a controversy, was that both angels jumped off each top ropes and did a double drop kick onto one of the Glamour Girls. But then, as the Jumping Bomb Angel that got the pin, one of the elbows, or not elbows, the shoulder. One of the shoulders wasn't down on the mat. Referee counted 1, 2, 3, even though Vince McMahon tried to tell the audience, yeah, it was down, but the replay clearly shows the shoulders wasn't down. And they counted the 1, 2, 3, and they lost the title on a botched referee mistake, who didn't see that the shoulders were down. So this was a little bit of controversy, and even Jesse the Body Ventura pointed it out to the audience.
Sure, that's controversy too.
But
I went a little bit more back.
But your little history lesson, that was pretty interesting too. But
I mean, that was, I was wondering because I didn't realize there was a women's tag team back then.
Yeah,
and
I don't remember.
This is about
I don't remember that either.
This will be the last time we see it.
So this is it. We don't see it at WrestleMania
he said that they
4?
wanted it at WrestleMania 5. But they, we might see it at 4, I guess. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to watch WrestleMania 4 and see what happens there. But I do know WrestleMania 4, there's a tournament. And we'll get to that later. But there's a tournament for the WWF Heavyweight Championship.
I kind of went on a rabbit hole because I'm like curious how old these women are. They look like older women, like 40s, 50s. And I found out that they're 33 and 28 in this match. So,
that's never good to think somebody's older when they're that much younger.
I thought these young Jumping Bomb Angels was facing their moms, equivalent of their moms, but no, they're young women.
Could have went to school together then.
Maybe.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so let's move it along and see what we got next.
Well, let's take a moment for our sponsor first.
Fair enough.
That's important, I guess.
So let's listen to our sponsor, Anchor, and we'll be right back after this promotional break.
And then we get the Royal Rumble.
Okay, so welcome back to our show. Next thing we get on this program is a contract signing with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. But before they give us a little rehash, they show us the footage of WrestleMania 3 where Andre is claiming that he had the pin 1, 2, 3 and that the referee counted 1, 2, 3 but didn't end the match. Within 3 minutes into the match, he claims he beat Hogan at WrestleMania 3.
Tell me where he's wrong.
Well, the match continued. The referee, chose that it wasn't a 3. And the match continued, and we got the historic body slam on Andre the Giant from Hulk Hogan.
Now, do you remember that?
The body slam?
When we watched WrestleMania 3, do you remember that pin?
I remember the pin, but I don't recall thinking it was a 3 count until they showed the footage and questioning it. But no, while I watched it, I did not think the match was over. I thought he got up. Never once questioned it. Did you?
Of course.
Of course you would. So anyhow, in this contract signing, not only before that, we also get a little bit of backstory of what's been going on WWF programming, and we find out that the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, had offered Hulk Hogan money for the World Heavyweight Championship. He tried to buy the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. What kind of snake does this?
Tell me you would say no to that.
If I'm the champion, I'm the champion. You have to earn the championship. You can't just buy your way into a championship.
He's earning it with dollar bills, y'all. Dollar bills.
I don't think so. So anyhow, when that fails and Hogan says, hell no.
I don't think Hogan said hell no.
I think he said hell no, didn't he? Pretty sure he did. We'll have to rewind the tape. I think he said hell no.
That sounded very Stone Cold like.
Well, maybe he's a pioneer. Maybe he did it before. Maybe that's where Stone Cold got it.
Is that right?
Maybe.
The
so anyhow,
phrase of hell no.
I think he said hell no, brother. Hell no, brother. So moving on, we find out that when that didn't work, he paid Bobby the Brain Heenan money for using Andre the Giant's services. So now, instead of Bobby the Brain Heenan managing Andre the Giant, now we have the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and Virgil pretty much managing Andre the Giant. So they're all in the ring together, and Ted DiBiase kind of has to play into Hogan's emotions before he officially signs it. And then Andre finally signs it. Then you kind of get a little bit of a stare off and everything. But it was kind of a fun moment in the show. We've seen many, many contract signings in WWE history. That's kind of a long tradition, and they never really end well, do they?
Not one time.
Yeah, so every contract signing I think we've ever seen on television seems to always end in some kind of an altercation, somebody getting hurt, somebody hightailing it out of the ring. There's always something during these contract signings, and apparently back in 1988, there's no difference.
Well, this signing went off the rails right off the bat when Hulk Hogan comes out in acid wash jeans. I mean, looking as 80s can be right there.
Well, how'd you expect him to look in the 80s?
Regular jeans.
So, his attire aside, now we finally, after this contract signing, have gotten to what we have been waiting for, the Royal Rumble match. You excited?
I am excited.